Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reacting to The Impossible Land by Neo. Original video will be in the description down below. Let's get into it.
On July 19, 1989, United Airlines Flight 232 takes off from Denver, Colorado, heading towards Chicago. It's been nearly an hour since departure, and the plane is now flying over Iowa with a sunny, clear sky.
Wait, it takes more than an hour to go from Denver to Chicago. I thought that was about an hour flight.
And relatively no turbulence. By all accounts, it's a routine flight with two very experienced pilots and one flight engineer in the cockpit. The plane
Alright. This looks like a DC-10 on MD-11.
plane is on autopilot and is now doing a turn towards a heading of 95 degrees.
Alright, 095.
But then, suddenly, with a violent jolt, everything changes.
Oh, damn.
The plane is a DC-10, and it is outfitted with 3 engines. One underneath each wing,
Yeah, I called
and
it
a
DC-10.
third at the base of the tail fin towards the back of the plane. After hearing and feeling the explosive bang, flight engineer Dudley Dvorak reports that it is the rear engine that has failed. Co-pilot William Records takes control of the plane
Interesting name.
as Captain Alfred Haynes begins an engine shutdown checklist.
Yep, routine.
Though it is alarming to lose an engine mid-flight, it isn't the worst-case scenario. The DC-10 is designed to still be able to fly even if only 2 engines are operational.
I mean, yeah, just fly like a normal twin engine under normal circumstances.
And so, the crew is able to cut off power to the damaged engine and turn their attention to steadying the plane back out. But this is when they realize just how bad the situation actually is. Because even though the plane is able to continue flying, Co-pilot Records reports that none of the controls are working.
What?
Captain Haynes
No
attempts
controls?
to manipulate the controls as well, and confirms that nothing seems to be functional.
Nah.
While the
Ocean
two
Gate
pilots
moment.
continue flying to see why the plane isn't responding to the controls, flight engineer Dvorak comes up with their answer. The plane has lost all hydraulic fluid.
That's insane.
Hydraulic fluid is needed for nearly every control output on the plane. For example, in order to make a plane bend to the left, a
I guess a plane this big wouldn't be fly-by-wire.
pilot will turn the control column to the left, causing the left aileron to move up and the right aileron to move down. The hydraulic fluid is a pressurized liquid
Wait, hold
that
on. I need to check that real quick. I need to check something. Okay, no, it doesn't have flaperons, okay.
allows these ailerons to move up and down once the control column is moved. If there's no fluid, there's no pressure that forces this movement, no matter how hard the control column is turned left or right.
I love the animation,
Because
so it
hydraulic
looks good.
pressure is so vital to flying a plane, there are actually 3 separate hydraulic lines that run through a DC-10.
As they should.
These hydraulic systems are independent from one another, so that if one should fail, there are 2 others that can continue providing hydraulic power. There is no procedure to follow should all 3 fail, because the likelihood of this
Until probably after this incident.
happening was thought to be 1 in a billion, virtually impossible.
Nothing is impossible in the
hydraulic
aviation
fluid
world.
left, the plane begins banking to the right. If this continues, the plane is in danger of fully rolling over, a situation that there's no recovering from.
Yeah, even Alaska 261 couldn't survive that. If you know, you know. Rest in
Flight
peace.
232 will crash. Thinking quickly, Captain Haynes realizes that even without hydraulic fluid, they still have at least one control that they can manipulate: the engine throttles. By decreasing the power to the left engine, Haynes is able to slowly level the plane back out. And with the immediate danger
that's good, that's
addressed,
good.
the crew can now turn their attention to the bigger
Locked.
issue. They have no way to fly this plane.
It's fucked.
Now, what the flight crew don't realize is that even though all 3 hydraulic lines run separately, there is one section in the back of the plane where they come within close proximity. near the rear engine.
Of course.
Later investigations will
Like,
reveal
notice
that
my
within the engine,
lack
a
of
fan
surprise.
disc had been produced using metal that was not completely pure. And this manufacturing defect went unnoticed. A crack began to form with each flight the aircraft took, until finally the disc couldn't hold anymore and broke apart within the engine.
Ooh,
The
50 cracks, so
resulting
it's the worst.
explosion severed the hydraulic lines to this rear engine, but it also sent shrapnel flying all around the area, towards the same section where the other two hydraulic lines come close together, severing them as well. The result was all lines bleeding hydraulic fluid until they were empty, leaving the flight crew helpless.
Oh.
At this very moment, a flight attendant comes to the cockpit to get an update on the situation. She can immediately tell things aren't good, and this is confirmed when Haynes tells her to ready the cabin for an emergency landing. Once she returns and begins instructing the other flight attendants to follow suit, she is stopped by a passenger sitting near the back of first class.
Yo, the passenger
He
come a
asks for
clutch.
information about what is going on, and he seems relatively calm given the situation. That is because he is no ordinary passenger. His name is Dennis Fitch, and he himself is a pilot. But not just any pilot.
Yo.
Fitch is actually a flight instructor for the DC-10, the very aircraft that they are on board.
What a
The flight attendant
godsend.
tells him that the rear engine is shut down and that the captain has reported that all hydraulics are lost. Fitch can't believe what he's hearing, as he knows this aircraft in and out and understands just how unlikely that could be.
What's
And yet,
fucking
it
happening?
is true. He also knows that they are almost certainly doomed, because he has studied
Rest
a
in
previous
peace.
flight
Rest in
that has
peace.
had this exact same
Holy shit, I'm
problem.
peeking. 4 years
Just
earlier.
4 years before United Flight 232 departed on its fated flight, Japan Airlines Flight 123 takes off from Tokyo, en route to Osaka. It'll
Wait,
be
what
a
was the
short
flight number?
flight, about 1 hour, but nonetheless, the journey 123 takes off from
Whoa.
to departed on its fated flight. Japan Airlines Flight 123
I think I remember this. I think I remember hearing about this.
takes off from Tokyo, en route to Osaka. It'll be
Didn't like Mayday Air just do a video on this? I think I watched that one.
a short flight, about 1 hour, but nonetheless, the journey will be made on a Boeing 747. These aircraft are known for their large size and are more typically used
Ah, yes, it's the 1 hour flight. I wonder what plane we should use. Fucking Boeing 747. Because why the fuck not?
for long-distance flights. However, this particular 747 variant is one specifically requested by Japan Airlines in response to high demand for certain domestic routes, such as between Tokyo and Osaka. With this model, fuel capacity is reduced in exchange for strengthening the structure of the aircraft to accommodate more frequent takeoffs and landings. And because it will be used for shorter flights, the business class section is reduced and the economy section is increased, allowing for more seats overall.
Okay.
No other airplane type had a higher capacity at the time, as this 747SR carried a
Meanwhile, the Airbus A380 came into the picture. Hold my beer.
staggering 524 people on this flight. But what no one on board knows is that something is happening in the back of the plane. Just a few years prior, this particular 747 was involved in a hard landing that resulted in a tail strike.
Bro, you ain't Ryanair.
There were even some injuries, but no casualties, and the plane needed some serious repairs, especially to the pressure bulkhead in the back of the plane. This is a curved wall that separates the pressurized air in the cabin from non-pressurized air, acting as a seal. Now, half of this bulkhead was damaged during the tail strike, and so repairs were carried out. The lower half dome of this bulkhead was therefore replaced. But this is where the fix wasn't done properly.
Oh
In the
lord.
correct installation, a single splice plate is used to connect both the upper and lower half of the bulkhead. This way, the loads are transmitted evenly across 3 rows of rivets. But during the repair, instead of using one single sheet, the splice plate was cut into 2 parts. This is a big mistake.
But why though? But actually, but
The
why?
top rivet is essentially not carrying any load, as it's not even
Again, why
connected
though?
to the lower bulkhead anymore.
Why?
And so, with each flight after the repair, cracks began to form around this area. And every flight the plane took, pressurizing and depressurizing the cabin, the cracks grew worse and worse. It was only a matter of time until the bulkhead couldn't hold anymore. Only 12 minutes into Flight 123, all 524 occupants feel an explosive decompression as the pressure bulkhead fractures. Pressurized air rushes into the space behind the bulkhead, an area not designed to handle the instantaneous pressure change. This causes more ruptures in the back of the plane, and the vertical tail fin blows off the aircraft.
Oh my god. Yeah, Squawk 77. Also, if you don't know, what they mean by Squawk 77, it's like a Squawk, or go to like a transponder code 7700. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Which basically like the universal emergency frequency. So like, let's say you have a blown engine or something, Squawk 7770. You know what I mean.
The explosion is so sudden that everything takes place in less than half a second, and oxygen masks.
Okay, one thing you don't really understand, that like, and I'm not trying to like diss on anyone fake like aviation like documentary stuff, because I'm basically doing completely the opposite. They're amazing, keep doing them. But like, they break it down so like you don't really understand how quick everything goes. Like less than a second this happened.
Of the aircraft, more ruptures in the back of the plane, and the vertical tail fin blows off the aircraft.
Like that, it happened so fucking quick. You just can't really grasp it. Like fraction of a second, this could take place.
The explosion is so sudden that everything takes place in less than half a second, and oxygen masks drop as the cabin becomes depressurized.
Yeah.
The flight crew immediately calls out to the Tokyo Control Tower and requests authorization to return to the airport.
Trouble, yes. Indeed trouble.
Permission is granted, though now the crew realizes a problem. Because just like United Flight 232, all hydraulic lines have been severed in the explosion, caused by shrapnel flying out in the section where the lines come close together. The plane has become unflyable. With no controls and now a missing tail fin, the plane begins dipping forward and back. This is called phugoid motion. Essentially, as the plane descends, it gains airspeed. But this additional speed causes lift, which makes the plane climb. With no control surfaces to correct this motion, the plane continuously rises and dips in a wave-like pattern. The flight crew realizes that the only control they still have left is engine thrust, and so they begin increasing and decreasing the plane's 4 engines in an attempt to steer back towards Tokyo. If they want to take a right turn, they increase power on the left engines and lower power on the right. It is an extremely difficult process, but even still, the crew is able to make some progress in getting turned around to head back to Haneda Airport, and they are decreasing their altitude. But now, they have yet another problem looming ahead of them: the Japanese Alps.
Oh no. Oh no, this ain't good. Turn right, mate. Turn right.
With little ability to control the plane, the crew do all they can to avoid the mountains. Ultimately, there's nothing that can be done.
07. 07.
Bracing for impact, the plane crashes into a ridge just north of Mount Mikuni after nearly 30 minutes of flying an uncontrollable plane.
It's the end. It's the end. Did you hear that? I'm going back. That is absolutely. Oh my god. That can be heart-wrenching. The gravity has just become real.
Rescuers immediately dispatch to the area, but the situation is dire. The 747 crashed high in the mountains, far past the point any road or path would reach, and with the sun taking away the last bit of daylight, it is virtually impossible to land a helicopter near the crash site.
Wait, even though I hate this happened, but imagine if like this happened now in the modern day. I'm pretty sure the end result would be different, with at least like with the rescue part.
After flying over the burning debris, rescuers believe it is impossible that anyone could have survived. Nearly 14 hours after the crash, with the rising sun, rescuers finally reach the crash site, and here they discover a miracle: movement. They find a woman alive, though severely injured. Now seeing there is hope, the search is energized, and they find a child stuck in a tree. Searching
I thought the same with cat stuck in a tree, not a child. Okay, update.
more, they also find a mother and her daughter alive, trapped under debris.
W.
Though miraculous that 4 people have survived, it is coupled with the devastating realization that all 520 other occupants of Flight 123 have perished. And even more tragic is that doctors would later determine that more could have survived if rescuers had reached the crash site sooner.
Oh. Oh no. Oh. That sucks.
And with so many casualties, this crash becomes the deadliest one involving a single plane in history, even until this day. Back on board United Flight 232, just 4 years later, flight instructor Danny Fitch is more aware of this than any other passenger. Knowing that the Japan Airlines flight faced the same issue of losing all hydraulics, Fitch decides to offer his assistance to the flight crew, help that Captain Haynes readily accepts.
Ooh.
Haynes explains to Fitch that they have been using differential engine thrust to fly until this point. And Captain Haynes instructs Fitch to take over so that he and co-pilot Records can focus on other potential methods.
Good CRM. We like this. If you don't know what CRM is, it's crew resource management. And this crew is showing great CRM
to get the plane safely to the ground.
Also, I love this the artwork that Neo does.
And so Fitch stands between the 2 pilots, a throttle in each hand, increasing and decreasing each based on visual cues and commands from Captain Haynes.
United United 232 Heavy, understand, sir. You can only make right turns? That's affirmative.
With over 400 miles left until they reach Chicago, the crew realizes that they will never make it.
Yeah,
And
it's
with
too
help from
fucked.
air traffic control, they locate a closer airport they can aim for, located in Sioux City, less than 100 miles away.
I have serious doubts about making the airport. Have you got someplace near there that we might be able to ditch? Unless you get control of this airplane, we're going to put it down wherever it happens to be.
And he instructs the flight attendants to prepare everyone for a hard crash landing.
We're going to try and put it into Sioux City, Iowa.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough.
So we're gonna evacuate for sure.
Right.
Signal.
The brakes will be the signal. It'll be over the PA system. Brake. Good luck.
Yep.
sweetheart.
Oh, good luck. Oh.
Back in the cabin, the flight attendants begin instructing passengers on the positions to maintain when it's time to brace for impact. And as they look around, they are hit with the startling realization of just how many children are on board. As luck would have it, today is Children's Day, a promotion from United where children can fly for only a penny.
Bro, when
There are 52 minors on Flight
is
232.
it still a thing?
And many of them are traveling alone.
Please
The
tell me
flight
it's still a thing.
attendants ask for help from several adult passengers, and everyone cooperates to make sure that no child is sitting by themselves. Next,
W
they
flight-
turn to
flight
the
crew.
4 children who were young enough to travel without a seat, those under 2 years old. The crew has no choice but to continue following procedure and have their parents place their children on the floor in front of them and surround the children with pillows and hope for the best.
United 232 Heavy, you're going to have to widen out just slightly to your left, sir, to make the turn to final, and also that'll take you away from the city. Whatever you do, keep us away from the city.
Back in the cockpit, the flight crew is steadily making way towards Sioux City. But the plane keeps pulling to the right. And so, deciding it would be best not to fight it, they corkscrew their way forward, with help from ATC providing directions and heading information.
Okay, corkscrew. That's
They
an
also
interesting
begin dumping
idea.
as much fuel as they can, trying to decrease their weight before landing. And after 2 right-hand circles, it's time to do their first left turn in order to
Lock in,
line
chat.
up with the airport.
Lock in.
But even after completing that turn, the plane still keeps drifting to the right, off the path towards the airport. And so, rather than keep fighting it, the crew decides to do another right-hand loop to get back on track.
GDUF from flanking.
232 Heavy, roger. The airport's currently at your 1 o'clock position, 10 miles. And United 232 Heavy, if you can't make the airport, sir, there is an interstate that runs north to south to the east side of the airport. It's a 4-lane interstate. We're just passing it right now. We're going to crash the airport.
Finally, about 9 miles out of Sioux City, the pilots make visual contact with the airport. They've managed to
ATC
make
has been
it this
really
far,
helpful. We
but
love that.
Now they have the worst yet to come, as they still need to land. One other problem is that without the hydraulics, the flaps, which allow the aircraft to fly at much slower speeds for takeoff and landing, cannot be extended. They are, however, able to manually lower the landing gear, letting gravity do the work of locking the wheels in place. And the extra drag from the landing gear helps reduce their speed a bit. But not by much, as they are still going more than double the speed of a typical landing.
Ooh. Still locked.
The
Still
entire
locked.
airport lays open before them, with every runway available. Sioux City Airport has 3 runways, but only 2 of them were active at the time, as runway 22 had been closed permanently a year earlier. The crew hopes to use runway 31. Therefore, the closed runway 22 is used by emergency responders to set up and prepare themselves to assist for what they know will be a bad landing. But just 2 minutes before touchdown, Captain Haynes realizes that they aren't lined up at all for runway 31, and they don't have time to make corrections. But as luck would have it, they are lined up almost perfectly with runway 22.
United 232 Heavy, the wind's currently 360 at 11, 360 at 11. You're cleared to land on any runway. You want to be particular and make it a runway, huh? 010 at 11, and there is a runway that's closed, sir, that could probably work too. It runs northeast to southwest. Pretty well lined up on this one, or I think we will be.
Immediately, responders rush to clear the closed runway and
Yeah,
make
we
way
need to be
for the
locked.
plane.
Yeah, that's a closed runway. That'll work, sir. We're getting the equipment off the runway, and they'll line up for that one. How long is it?
Amazing cooperation. This
At the end
is
of the runway,
amazing.
Just a wide open field, sir, so the length won't be a problem.
And with nothing left they can do, everyone straps in, and Captain Haynes calls out to the passengers to brace themselves.
Brace.
Plane of 19, he's coming down real fast down the south end.
Oh my god. Oh no. No, that's F in chat.
Unfortunately, despite the crew's best efforts, the uncontrollable plane finally gets the best of them. Just above the ground, the plane dips sharply to the right, and the right wing strikes the ground. The plane immediately begins breaking apart and ignites in a fireball as the wreckage
No, they
continues
had
spinning
it
down
till the
runway
very
and
end.
into nearby cornfields. Emergency responders rush to the scene, and everyone fears it'll be just like Japan Airlines all over again. And
Yeah, but this time, the first responders actually gonna reach it pretty much instantly.
yet, as they approach, passengers begin streaming out of the wreckage. Responders begin evacuating and
Okay.
attending to any survivors they can find. And survivors themselves also assist each other.
We love
One
that.
man escapes the burning wreckage only to hear a baby crying from somewhere in the plane. Risking his own life, he goes back in and finds a baby which somehow during the impact became trapped in an overhead bin.
Don't ask questions, we just go.
So
But that's amazing.
Child,
We love people who do that, like saying, "Fuck it, I'm rescuing this other person, even if it kills me."
reuniting her back with her mother. And outside, responders also attempt to locate the cockpit, which broke apart during the impact. It takes them 40 minutes, but finally they discover its broken and charred remains after seeing Flight Engineer Drojak waving his arms from the wreckage. Captain Haynes, co-pilot Records, Flight Engineer Drojak, and Flight Instructor Fitch are all alive. though
Yo,
in
that's
critical
good.
condition. They are freed from the wreckage and join the other survivors who are now being raced to the nearby trauma center. By the end of the rescue efforts, it's a bitter moment. 113 people perished after the crash, including 11 children. It is a situation that no one should have
No.
walked away from, a crash that seemed impossible to survive. And yet, 183 people made it. A combination of
that's
skill
good, that's
from the
good.
crew, good communication, and a little bit of luck meant that more than half of Flight 232 lived to see another day.
That's better than none.
Both these crashes unfolded under completely different circumstances. The United flight lost its hydraulics over one of the flattest parts of the United States, while Japan Airlines found itself over mountainous terrain. They were
Yep.
flying different aircraft with vastly different mass and control characteristics. And crucially, Japan Airlines had lost its vertical stabilizer, a failure that made a controlled landing physically impossible. And the fact that the crew managed to keep the aircraft in the air for over half an hour is nothing short of extraordinary.
Wait, okay, that makes me wonder. What if we switch so the Japan Airlines is like where like the United Airlines flight was, and United Airlines was where the Japan Airlines flight was? Would that actually change it? I'm pretty sure it would, and it would be kind of interesting to see how it would change.
But what these two incidents do have in common is that they reveal just how catastrophic the loss of all hydraulics can be. And they also have something else in common. To this day, both incidents are regarded as some of the most remarkable examples of pilot skill. United 232 is often cited as one of the clearest examples of crew resource management in action. A captain, first officer, flight engineer, and even a training captain, all working together, sharing control inputs and communicating constantly. But aviation didn't always operate that way, and in fact, the
Ooh.
culture that made that kind of collaboration
Yep.
possible was born out of tragedy. One famous example of bad communication leading to tragedy is the Tenerife disaster in
Oh lord, this one. I've heard about this so many times, I practically have it memorized.
1977, when two 747s filled with passengers collided almost head-on the runway. The absolute worst-case scenario.
Is hij er niet afgekomen? Is hij er niet af? Die Pan American?
And to understand how
yes.
this happened, I created a
Famous last words, dead.
full-length video detailing the exact radio exchanges and mapping out the chain of events.
Okay, this is basically it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I am fucking tired. It is 8:27 p.m. I don't know why I'm calling this late. But without further ado, have a good rest of your night. I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe if you're new. Follow me over on Twitch, you know the deal. I now have a new live channel. Clone Play YouTube. You should go check that out. Because I'll be live. Probably on Friday afternoon or Saturday. I'll be doing a jump stream. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be packed with a ton of cool songs. Hopefully, you don't get copyright strike. See you next time. Peace out and good rest of your day and night. I'm out. Bye.